What's up everybody, Thomas here. Today we're back again working on the 1985 Merkur XR4Ti. And so today, last time we replaced the coolant temp sender. So now today we're going to be looking at the cooling fan and other components of the cooling system. We may be reassembling and checking to see if we get good coolant temperature gauge operation today as well, so might be doing that. But first we're going to start off with a basic test of the cooling fan to make sure that it works. That way we'll know that if it works, we're good there. Then we can move on to the rest of the system. If the fan doesn't come on or work, then we know that it's bad. So that's what we're going to start with. So let's jump right into it. So the cooling fan is mounted right here on the back of the rad. So it's an aftermarket fan, and it's got the connector hooked up to it. So our first test is going to be to run 12 volts to the fan itself and see if it comes on. So yeah, I'll grab the stuff to do that and I'll jump right into it. Alrighty guys, so I'm back here. I got my testers. I got a wire. I got another wire. So we're going to take the thing, hook it up. So I'll put one wire in one hole, one wire in the other hole, hold them in like that. We'll take this blue wire, attach it to the power. It comes on, you can hear it. Alright, let's change the polarity just to test. Go from in there, put this wire in there, put this on the red, or on the positive terminal. There it is. It works both directions. So the fan is functional. I've never heard it turn on before, so we know that now at least anyways. So we can focus on the rest of the system if there are some other issues with it. Maybe it will be fixed after we replace this sensor. I do not know. I'll go put my test leads away. We may need them later. I'm not sure. Be back in a second. Alrighty, so yes, so we just verified that the fan is functional. So now we have to work our way back from the fan. So the fan works. What's the fan connected to the wiring? So we'll go back all the way to the wiring, find where it goes to, and then test all that stuff. Just gonna hook the fan back up for now. And yeah, what I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna kind of rebuild here the intake and all that stuff, right? So that way we can kind of start the engine and do whatever if we need to. Now, another thing we might want to check is this wiring. If the temperature gauge still doesn't work after this, then it may be due to something of the wiring. So we're going to check the wiring as well. So first I'm going to plug in the fuel injectors. There we go. Oops. Installed. We got this wire that goes to the coolant temp sender down here. This wire needs to be readjusted, re-ribbed. There we go. Like so. Installed. Alright. This wire has to be reinstalled. This is the connector for the fuel controls. So I'll plug that back in. While here. Then there's 2 bolts that need to be installed. Make sure these are in tight. Yep. 2 bolts for the fuel injectors. The fuel injector rail. So I'll bring you guys up here so you can see these 2 bolts. One's for the fuel injectors. 2 10 mils. So yeah, so we're gonna put these 2 10 mils in. They go into their spots down here. We'll just gun them down. Alrighty, got them in. This one. That's 2. Alright, fuel injectors are all back in. Next is to put the intake manifold back on. So this just goes on top like so. Yeah, it's fairly simple. This silicone, the middle, put that on after. This lines up with this. There's a couple of brackets and stuff that need to go back on. First, there's 4 bolts that need to go into the intake. Alright, keep that out of the way right here. Like so. So 4 bolts. 2s with studs on them go on the inside, and 2s with ones go on the outside. So, right. Make sure there's nothing interfering here. Alright, so they look like 12 or 13s maybe. 15. Yep, no problem. 15. I don't know if that's gonna make it. Let me see if we have an imperial equivalent deep socket. Should be like 9/16. Pretty close if I do say so myself, so we'll gun this down. There we go. That's all them installed. Next is the bolts for the EGR. We can also hook up the coolant temp sensor located up there. I'm sure you probably saw that already, especially if you checked out my playlist or watched the previous videos. So plug this in. I'm just gonna plug it into the connector itself. It's gonna be kind of funky, but whatever. Still technically kind of works. There we go, plugged in. And next, yes, the EGR. So EGR bolts, just 2 of those. They go on the back there. Oh, and also these bolts. I forgot about all these bolts. There's a couple other bolts here. We got these 2 bolts. These hold the dipstick. This is the dipstick mount, and this is the fuel pulse dampener bracket. So we'll put that on as well. Really forgot about it. It goes on right here. Now, along with that, there was also a massive ground strap on here. And I'm not sure where, oh, here it is. Is that it? No, that's not it. I seem to have lost it. Well, it's gone, I guess. Hang on, let me see if I can see it with some light. Okie doke, so I have it. I found the ground strap, I got it on there. Pointed out there. See, it's right down there, right here. So I'm just going to gun these bolts down for the bracket. I'm going to put the fuel pulse dampener into its spot here. There, grab the bolt for it. Pulse dampener bolt, EGR bolts, and the throttle cable linkage assembly bolts. So this gets tightened up. These go in here. Those are also 10 mils, so I'll put those in and I'll be right back. Alright, now it's time for the throttle cable linkage assembly. These are just go right up here, and this just locks in on here, like so. Push that in like there, put the 2 bolts into their slot. Tighten them up, they look like they're 13 mils or so. Let's try. No, oops. 9/16. No, they're a half inch. Tight. Let's put on the vacuum, the different vacuum line attachments. So we got the vacuum line for the fuel pressure controller thingy. Then we got the main vacuum tree attachment right here. Go on. Of course, we got to clamp it. And there, that's how you, oh, and we got to put the silicone little thing back on as well. Almost forgot about that. This on, and slide this guy on. There they are. Nice, we'll tighten up that clamp. Oops, okay. Probably one of these guys. 5/16. Yep, perfect. There we go. All tightened up. Mosquitoes are coming out early today. Wow. All right. Well, anyways. So let's hook up the negative terminal here and see what happens. Yeah, I got the standard click, the starter. Now let's see what the engine does. Fans on. Holy smoke. Fans on. Well, that's cool. I had the fan turn on. Let me get this thing started in a second. See, normally I try to turn on the AC just for fun or whatever because I don't have an AC belt. And I figured nothing would happen because nothing usually happens, but we just had the fan come on, so that's pretty good. I'm pretty impressed with that. Now let's try and start it again. That's running. kind of idling like a bag of right now, but seems we're getting a bit of smoke as well. Probably due to the coolant. White smoke is burning coolant, especially since I literally filled up my cylinders with coolant before I started it, so at least it's running. I mean, I'm pretty happy with that, but I gotta fix this throttle cable or else having it fall off every 5 seconds isn't gonna be too good, so I got some pliers. This will do. Yeah, well, it's running still. It's a little rough. After those. That's good. We got the fan on. Let me turn out the AC and see if the fan turns off. Temp sensor. I'm wondering. I'm gonna try something right now. I have no idea if it will work. I get the 10 now. What happens if I take this ground off? It's just an idea. Off. Going to whatever ground is normally grounding it. That really didn't change anything. Next, we'll put the ground back on. I guess we'll have to look a bit more into the wiring with this thing, since clearly it hasn't really done anything. Now we'll give it a minute for this thing to get warmed up. Maybe we'll see some movement on the gauge here. I'm just gonna shut it down for a minute and make sure there's no cappuccino in the engine. Yeah, so sounds like maybe the exhaust leak's coming from around the turbo area actually, so that's not good. However, everything seems to be functioning as it should. let's see here. Let's try. It needs to get a bit warmer, I think. However, I don't think this inside fan works. Or it doesn't seem to. Let's see the circ air. Nothing. So, the fan inside the vehicle doesn't work, which is not great, but we can fix that later. Check the temperatures again. Sorry. Smells like wood fire over here for some reason. Oh, that's a lot of smoke. What is that there for? Okay, I'm gonna shut it down now. What is smoking? I don't know if you guys can see that, but there is something smoking. I do not know what it is. Seems to be coming from over here. I do not know why it is smoking. It doesn't feel that hot. Maybe it's something from the back here, I guess. I don't know. Well, I don't know. I can't really tell. Alrighty, well, we had a look at the coolant temp sensor. It didn't seem to have fixed anything. Unfortunately, like, we're still getting no reading on the gauge and stuff like that, so we'll just have to leave it for now. And I'd like to encourage you guys to make sure you check out the whole playlist. We got the whole story going on there. Like this video, make sure you subscribe, and yeah, peace.